You might think that because cyberbullying usually takes place at home on student-owned devices, that it's a problem for parents and not for schools. But cyberbullying is increasingly becoming a problem for American schools. So in this presentation, I'd like to discuss with you what cyberbullying is, why schools should care about it, and what schools can and should do to respond to cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is simply bullying that takes place using electronic technology. Anything posted online that's intended to hurt or upset someone else is considered cyberbullying. Behavior that is harassing, threatening, demeaning, or embarrassing is considered cyberbullying as well. So are mean comments or sexual remarks and spreading rumors about someone online. Cyberbullying can happen on social media, instant messaging, chat rooms, email, texting, and mobile devices. It can take a number of forms, including leaving someone out of a group chat, posting embarrassing, cruel, or untrue information about someone, trickery, such as pretending to be someone that you're not, or deliberately posting information or comments that you know will upset someone. Cyberbullying is on the rise, partially because kids have so much access to technology. 93% of kids have computers at home, 66% have a personal cell phone, and 76% have another multimedia device, such as an iPad or a tablet. So, why should you, as a teacher, care about cyberbullying? Well, 54% of schools report occasional problems with cyberbullying, with only 19% of schools reporting no cyberbullying. 1/3 to 1/2 of youth have been targeted, and 70% of kids say that rumors have been spread about them online. The victims of cyberbullying are more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety. They're also more likely to engage in self-harm, skip class, develop an eating disorder, and develop a problem with alcohol and drug abuse. Cyberbullying victims are twice as likely to attempt suicide. Cyberbullying really is a concern. Now, you might be wondering, why is cyberbullying any of the school's business if it takes place at home? The courts have ruled that students are allowed freedom of expression, but their freedom of expression has limits. Freedom of expression is not allowed if it disrupts learning, interferes with education or discipline, uses school technology to harass, threatens other students, or infringes on other students' civil rights. So, if students are using school devices to cyberbully, the school definitely has a role to play there. Even if cyberbullying takes place off campus using student devices, schools can still discipline students for their off-campus behavior if it disrupts learning, if it interferes with education at school, if it's threatening or it's infringing on civil rights. Cyberbullying is different from traditional bullying in that it follows kids everywhere. So, something embarrassing might happen to a kid at school, but then they get cyberbullied about it at home. And the cyberbullying that starts at home could carry on into the school day. As a result, courts have allowed civil lawsuits to be filed against alleged cyberbullies, their parents, and schools who didn't take action. Let's look a little bit more specifically at what the courts have said about when schools can step in cases of cyberbullying. In JS versus Bethlehem Area School District in 2000, the court ruled that schools can discipline students for off-campus behavior if it disrupts the school environment. And in Kowalski versus Berkeley County Schools in 2001, the court ruled that schools can discipline speech if it collides with the rights of others. However, in Emmett versus Kent School District number 415 in 2000, The court ruled that schools have to demonstrate a real, credible threat. And in JS versus Blue Mountain School District in 2011, the court ruled that schools must show a substantial disturbance to the learning environment. So schools do have the right to discipline students for off-campus behavior, but they have to show that it's a real threat, that it creates a substantial disturbance to the learning environment, or it collides with the rights of others. All of this is pretty complicated. So, how should schools respond to cyberbullying? The first step is to create a cyberbullying policy. Schools should define harassment, intimidation, and bullying. They should create graduated consequences, not a one-size-fits-all policy. Schools should outline procedures for reporting and investigating cyberbullying, and they should stipulate that off-campus behavior can be disciplined if it disrupts the learning environment or infringes on students' rights. Finally, schools should outline steps for preventing cyberbullying. This includes debunking perceptions of digital behavior. So we need to teach students what's appropriate behavior and what's not appropriate behavior online. We need to teach kids that the comments they post today will follow them forever. Perhaps most importantly, we need to build empathy and understanding. We need to help kids understand that the comments that they make online really can hurt people, and help kids predict how other kids might feel about what they post. We need to teach online safety and strategies to help kids stand up to cyberbullies, and we need to engage parents in our bullying prevention efforts. When we're thinking about disciplining students for cyberbullying activity, our emphasis should be on guiding kids and helping them make good choices rather than on harsh punishments. We need to remember that kids' brains aren't fully developed yet, and they don't always understand the consequences of their actions. Kids may not fully understand that their behavior might be hurtful. So we shouldn't publicly shame kids for cyberbullying. We shouldn't enact zero tolerance policies. And we shouldn't have formal discipline policies with really harsh punishments. This could create an us versus them environment and could actually increase cyberbullying. At the very least, it might send cyberbullying behavior further underground. We should develop a positive school climate where kids are connected, kids care about each other, and kids understand what behavior is inappropriate and harmful. We also need to teach kids what to do if they are the victim of cyberbullying. Kids need to know how to report cyberbullying to an adult, how to collect evidence like screenshots, how to report cyberbullying to the app, game, or website where it takes place, how to work with friends to stand up against cyberbullying, how to tell bullies to stop their cyberbullying behavior, and how to avoid dangerous situations. We teach kids to avoid dangerous places in person. We need to teach them to avoid dangerous situations online as well. If you are interested in learning more about cyberbullying and how to prevent it, here are some resources that you can check out. Technology opens up the world to our students. Kids today have access to information that they've never had access to before. As teachers, our job is to show kids the world, but it's also to